Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Anita Anand with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with students and parents to address their worries at CBSE virtual session. Centre finalizes arrangements for 30 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses of Hyderabad-based manufacturer Biological E. India also engaged with US vaccine manufacturers Pfizer, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. Vaccination for all will be achieved by December this year, says government. Chief Economic Advisor asserts country's economy will start recovering from next month. Validity period of teachers' eligibility test qualifying certificate extended from 7 years to lifetime. Defence Ministry signs contract to procure 11 airport surveillance radars for the Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard. Army Chief General M.M. Narawane reviews security situation along the line of control in Kashmir. And India's Tokyo Olympics kits unveiled. Prime Minister holds review meeting on preparedness. In the wake of COVID-19, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard and stay safe and protected by following these 4 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene, and get vaccinated. For providing COVID-related information and guidance to the people, national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075 are operational. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with students and their parents today and asked them how they felt after hearing about the cancellation of Class 12 board exams. The Prime Minister surprised CBSE students and their parents when he joined a virtual session organized by the Education Ministry. He heard the issues and concerns of the students and their parents. Mr. Modi asked the students how they will spend time post-exam cancellation and whether they will watch IPL, Champions League or wait for the Olympics. He told them that they should never be worried about the exams and decision to cancel the examination was taken in their interest. He also said health is wealth and asked them what they do to remain physically fit.
अच्छा ये बताओ भाई, आप तो 10वीं में टॉपर थे, तो पक्का घर में तैयारी होगी 12वीं में टॉप करेंगे। अब एग्जाम ही चली गई तो आपका तो सारा रुक गया।
सर वही मैं बता रहा था, अपेक्षा है लोगों की, पर मुझे अच्छा लगा सर, क्योंकि मतलब अगर मैं परीक्षा देता तो वो प्रेशर बढ़ता जा रहा था, एक सैचुरेशन पॉइंट रीच हो चुका था और हम देख रहे थे कि इतना सेफ भी नहीं है और आपने बिल्कुल समय से इतना बेहतरीन निर्णय ले लिया और जो निरंतर पढ़ाई करता आ रहा है, जो कंसिस्टेंट है सर, जो भी क्राइटेरिया आएगा, जो भी आप निर्णय लेंगे तो उसमें वो फिर भी अव्वल ही रहेंगे, तो उसमें उन्हें इतनी चिंता की जरूरत नहीं है। कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं टॉपर निराश हैं या ऐसे हैं, मैं मानता हूं कि हमने प्रोविजन तो रखा ही है कि आप दोबारा पेपर दे सकते हैं, तो एक बहुत ही समझा हुआ निर्णय मैं मानता हूं और हम इसके जीवन आपके तरह आभारी रहेंगे।
Over 22 crore 10 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. More than 22 lakh doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said India reported 1,34,000 daily new cases in the last 24 hours. In the same period, more than 2,11,000 patients recovered from COVID-19. The ministry said there are more daily recoveries than the daily new cases for 21 consecutive days. The national recovery rate has improved to 92.79%. 2,887 deaths were also reported in the last 24 hours.
The Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said that more than 2 crore 20 lakh COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories to be administered to the beneficiaries. The ministry has said the central government has provided over 24 crore 17 lakh COVID vaccine doses to states and union territories so far. Of this, the total consumption of doses, including wastages, is over 21 crore 96 lakh. The Health Ministry has finalized arrangements with Hyderabad-based vaccine manufacturer Biological E to reserve 30 crore of COVID-19 vaccine doses. These vaccine doses will be manufactured and stockpiled by Biological E from August to December this year. For this purpose, the Union Ministry of Health would be making an advance payment of 1,500 crore rupees to Biological E. The COVID-19 vaccine of Biological E is currently undergoing phase 3 clinical trials after showing promising results in phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials. The vaccine being developed by Biological E is likely to be available in the next few months. The proposal of the company was examined and recommended for approval after due diligence by National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration for COVID-19.
India also engaged with the US vaccine manufacturers like Pfizer, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson for COVID vaccines. Briefing the media virtually today, the External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said the government is making all efforts to augment availability of vaccines in India, whether through enhanced production in the country or through supply from abroad. He said the government is also separately engaged with the US administration to ensure that necessary components and raw materials for vaccine manufacturing and production in India are readily available and that supply chains remain open. This issue was taken up recently during the visit of External Affairs Minister to the US. Mr. Bagchi said it is in the mutual interest to combat the global pandemic by expediting the vaccination efforts.
EM was the first cabinet minister from India to visit the US to engage with the Biden administration. His comprehensive program included meetings with the US leadership, interactions with members of the Congress, CEOs of US companies, as think tanks, among others. Both sides focused on the ongoing efforts to combat COVID-19, expeditious vaccination, enhancing access to vaccines, ensuring smooth and open supply chains for vaccines and related materials, and securing a waiver under TRIPS for COVID-19 vaccines.
Mr. Bagchi said COVID-related equipment and materials have been received from over 48 countries. Chief Economic Advisor K.V. Subramanian says that the country's economy will start recovering from next month. In an interview to an agency, Mr. Subramanian said the second wave of COVID-19 has affected the momentum of economic recovery. Mr. Subramanian said the states have started removing restrictions and if the vaccination is speeded up, economy will start recovering. He said India will be able to achieve vaccination for all by December this year. The Chief Economic Advisor said COVID-19 is not going to impact the country's fiscal deficit target and disinvestment target.
India's flag bearer of para sports, Deepa Malik, says it was as important for her to get vaccinated as winning a medal for the country. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, the Padma Shri and Arjun awardee athlete said, by getting vaccinated, we not only save ourselves, but also the surroundings we live in.
I make a sincere appeal to my fellow countrymen to please take vaccination. This is nothing but a symbol of patriotism. If you love your country, you want to see your country healthy, happy and prosperous, and you want your near and dear ones to remain a winner against coronavirus. It's very important for every citizen to get vaccinated. Please take your vaccination. I have taken both my doses. Thank you.
The health experts have said that mucormycosis is mostly seen in people with decreased immunity and who are diabetic. A webinar on mucormycosis and dental health in relation to COVID-19 was organized today by the Press Information Bureau. During the webinar, Dr. Rajiv Jayadevan, gastroenterologist, said cases of mucormycosis being witnessed are a tiny fraction of COVID-19 cases.
Well, as you know, mucormycosis is a fungus infection. And it is not a single fungus, it is many species of fungi that are grouped under the name mucormycosis. Whenever people have depressed immunity, we all have an immune system that helps us fight infections that are attacking us every day. And without our knowledge, our immune system is able to get rid of all the infections. But there are times when our immune system is suppressed, and having COVID-19 in the background of diabetes and steroid use is a classic setting of triple immunosuppression.
The dental expert Dr. Neeta Rana said there is a link between good dental health and COVID-19 infection. Dr. Rana said if wound after tooth extraction is not maintained well and good oral hygiene is not observed, then it increases chances of catching mucormycosis.
The Centre has asked states and union territories to ensure care and protection of children adversely impacted by COVID, following the protocol as mandated under the Juvenile Justice Act 2015. In a letter, the Ministry of Women and Child Development has advised states and union territories to continue the efforts relentlessly to bring all such children under the safety net provided by the government schemes and programs. The ministry has said that all concerned government departments and other stakeholders at all levels must be activated to guarantee convergent efforts in the best interest of the child in distress. It has asked the states and union territories to ensure that none of the vulnerable children slip through the safety net. Railways has delivered more than 24,387 tons of liquid medical oxygen to 15 states across the country. Railways Ministry said Railways is continuing its journey of bringing relief by delivering liquid medical oxygen to various states. More details from our correspondent.
Oxygen Expresses had started deliveries of liquid medical oxygen 40 days back in Maharashtra with a load of 126 tons. Railways is picking up oxygen from places like Hapa, Baroda, Mundra in the west, and Rourkela, Durgapur, Tatanagar, Angul in the east, and then delivering it to various states. More than 350 Oxygen Expresses have completed their journey so far. Oxygen relief by Oxygen Expresses reached out to 15 states. Southern states of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Telangana have received more than 2,000 tons of liquid medical oxygen each from Oxygen Expresses. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikya, LR News, Delhi.
Karnataka has extended its ongoing lockdown till 14th of June. Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa announced the extension of lockdown today, saying that the pandemic situation is yet to stabilize in the state. The Chief Minister also announced a second relief package of 500 crore rupees for weavers, workers in the film and TV industry and fishermen. They will get a one-time relief of 3,000 rupees cash assistance. Maharashtra Minister Vijay Wadettiwar today informed that the state government has decided to cancel the Class 12th State Board examination in view of the ongoing second wave of COVID-19 and a possible third wave. The state government's decision to scrap final examinations comes after the Central Board of Secondary Education CBSE cancelled their 12th board exams.
A 91-year-old woman from Kumligaon village in southwest Garo Hills district of Meghalaya has defeated COVID-19 after contracting the virus 2 weeks ago. Anati Koch, who was already bedridden due to hip dislocation, had tested positive for COVID-19 2 weeks ago after an ASHA worker who was nursing her contracted the virus. During the 10-day isolation period, she could not eat properly due to loss of smell and appetite. However, on the 11th day when she was tested, the results came out to be negative. 18 other locals from Kumligaon village who had tested positive have also recovered. In Jammu and Kashmir, several non-governmental organizations or NGOs and volunteers have been tirelessly reaching out to the needy and destitute and providing assistance in an effort to mitigate the sufferings faced by them due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Another such example has come from a Kashmiri boatman who rides his shikara on the world-famous Dal Lake in Srinagar. More from our Srinagar correspondent.
The prevailing unprecedented COVID-19 circumstances has brought forth many acts of generosity among the people of the country. Such an act of kindness has been shown by a Srinagar resident Tariq Ahmed Patulu, who actually is a boatman on Dal Lake and has turned his boat into floating ambulance to provide the assistance required by the Dal dwellers. Mr. Tariq Patulu, while talking to this correspondent, said,
मैं एक विक्टिम बना था इसका, मैं भी कोरोना पेशेंट था. मुझे लगा कि ये जो एम्बुलेंस जो मैंने बनाई ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट थी, क्योंकि इस कम्युनिटी के अंदर पहली बार ऐसा इनिशिएटिव किसी ने किया, वो मैंने किया है. आज की डेट में डेड बॉडी भी मैंने इसमें क्रॉस कराई है. चाहे कोई बीमार हो या कोरोना पेशेंट हो, मैंने उनका सपोर्ट पूरी तरह से किया.
Sunil Koul for AR News from Srinagar.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program Corona Jagrukta series will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19 tonight. Dr. Lieutenant General Ved Chaturvedi, Sir Gangaram Hospital, will participate in the live discussion. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free number 1800115767 and on the telephone number 011-2331-4444. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting today issued an advisory to all private general entertainment television channels to promote awareness of national helpline numbers. The channels have been asked to promote the helpline numbers by way of a ticker or such appropriate ways at periodic intervals, especially during prime time. The national helpline of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for COVID-related queries is 1075. The child helpline number of Ministry of Women and Child Development is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with students and parents to address their worries at CBSE virtual session. Centre finalizes arrangements for 30 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses of Hyderabad-based manufacturer Biological E. India also engaged with US vaccine manufacturers Pfizer, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. Vaccination for all will be achieved by December this year, says government. Chief Economic Advisor asserts country's economy will start recovering from next month. Validity period of teachers' eligibility test qualifying certificate extended from 7 years to lifetime. Defence Ministry signs contract to procure 11 airport surveillance radars for Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard. Army Chief General M.M. Naravane reviews the security situation along line of control in Kashmir, and India's Tokyo Olympics kits unveiled. Prime Minister holds review meeting on preparedness. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. You're listening to the evening news. Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has announced that the government has decided to extend the validity period of Teachers Eligibility Test (TET) qualifying certificate from 7 years to lifetime. This will be implemented retrospectively from the year 2011. The minister said the states and union territories will take necessary action to revalidate and issue fresh TET certificates to those candidates whose period of 7 years has already lapsed. He termed this as a positive step in increasing the employment opportunities for candidates aspiring to make a career in the teaching field. The Defence Ministry today signed a contract with Mahindra Telephonics Integrated Systems Limited for procurement of 11 airport surveillance radars with monopulse secondary surveillance radar for the Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard. The procurement, at a cost of over 323 crore rupees, will be made under the buy and make category. The installation of these radars will increase the air domain awareness around airfields and enhance safety and efficiency in flying operations of the Indian Navy and the Indian Coast Guard.
Army General Chief M.M. Naravane reviewed the security situation along the line of control today on the second day of his two-day visit to the Kashmir Valley, accompanied by Northern Army Commander Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi and Chinar Corps Commander Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey. The Army Chief visited the formations and units, wherein the local commanders briefed General Naravane on the existing security situation and the measures instituted to foil infiltration by terrorists from Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. General Naravane interacted with the troops and complimented them for their high morale and the high state of operational preparedness. While appreciating the current state of peace prevailing along the line of control, he cautioned all commanders and troops to not let their guard down and to remain prepared to meet any emerging security challenges effectively. The government today said that number of startups recognized by Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, has reached 50,000. Startup India is a flagship initiative of the central government, which was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on January 2016. The Commerce and Industry Ministry said the recognized startups have now spread across 623 districts, and each state and union territory has at least one startup.
Food Processing Industries Minister Narendra Singh Tomar today virtually inaugurated the India's Best Mega Food Park at Raipur in Chhattisgarh. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Tomar said, the Mega Food Park will ensure value addition, longer shelf life for farm produce, better price realization for farmers, excellent storage facility, and will provide an alternate market for farmers in the region. In a bid to ensure free and fair elections in the country and maximize the electoral coverage, the Election Commission of India has made a series of recommendations to the Law Ministry, including cancellation of candidature and increasing the imprisonment to 2 years in case of false affidavit by poll candidates. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra informed that the Commission has suggested to the Law Ministry to work on necessary amendments to include more than one cut-off date for inclusion of people turning 18 years into the electoral list.
प्रत्येक वोटर जो है 1 जनवरी को अगर 18 साल की एज पूरी करता है तो ही बिकम्स ए वोटर। मेरा तो भी विचार ये है कि जब भी 18 साल का हो जाए ही शुड बिकम ए वोटर। जितने यंगस्टर्स एज सून एज उनको 18 साल प्राप्त हों मतदाता बने और उसको ज्यादा भागीदारी का मौका मिले किसी भी इलेक्शन करने में। दूसरा हमारा जो इम्पोर्टेंट सुझाव है वो ये है कि हमारा जो इलेक्टोरल रोल है उसको हम आधार से भी लिंक कर दें, सो दैट अगर कहीं पर भी डुप्लीकेट वोटर्स पाए उसको हम ट्रेस कर सकें और उसको हम खत्म कर सकें। जिससे अगर वो ट्रांसफर भी होता है एक जगह से दूसरी जगह तो उसको भी हम आसानी से स्थानांतरण करके पहली जगह से नाम खत्म करके दूसरी जगह उसका नाम लिखते हैं। और इसके अलावा हम चाहते हैं कि 3-4 और इम्पोर्टेंट हमारे सजेशंस हैं जो कि वहां पर अभी लंबित हैं। और जैसे कि एक एफिडेविट जो लोग फाइल करते हैं कैंडिडेट, अगर वो एफिडेविट गलत पाया जाता है तो उसकी सजा का प्रावधान 6 महीने का है। हम चाहते हैं उसको बढ़ाकर 2 वर्ष किया जाए, जिससे कि अगर गलत उसका एफिडेविट है जिसके आधार पर मतदाता ने उसको वोट दिया है उसका कैंडिडेचर है वो निरस्त किया जाए।
External Affairs Ministry today said India remains steadfast in its efforts to ensure that fugitives are brought back to India to face justice. Replying to media queries on fugitive Mehul Choksi, Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said he is currently in the custody of Dominican authorities and certain legal proceedings are underway. He said India will continue to make all efforts to ensure that he is brought back to India. The Maharashtra government has decided to implement the Maharashtra Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme MAPS with the objective of providing employment and training to the youth of the state. Under this scheme, in the current year, apprenticeship opportunities will be provided to 1 lakh youth in various industries and establishments in the state. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
Maharashtra Skills Development, Employment and Entrepreneurship Minister Nawab Malik today informed that new Maharashtra Apprentice Promotion Scheme is being implemented to provide employment and self-employment opportunities and experience to the youth who have passed at least 10th standard in the state. He said the scheme aims to provide employment and training to 5 lakh well-educated unemployed youth in the next 5 years. He also informed that under this scheme, 75% of stipend or rupees 5,000, whichever is less, will be provided to the apprentice. The government decision regarding this scheme was issued today. He said that the scheme has been implemented for 715 businesses, which will benefit the factories in the industrial sector. Sweetie Jain, AIR News, Mumbai.
India's merchandise export registered an impressive growth in May last month. The Commerce Secretary, Dr. Anupa Dhavandre, said that merchandise exports in May last month showed a significant growth of over 67% compared to the corresponding period last year. The Sensex today climbed to settle above the 52,000 mark, while the Nifty surged to finish near the 15,700 level. A report from the Business World.
The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange rose 383 points, or 0.74%, to close at 52,232. Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also added 114 points, or 0.73%, to end at 15,690. In the Forex market, the rupee strengthened 18 paise to finish at 72 rupees and 91 paise against the US dollar. Gold prices gained around 500 rupees at multi-commodity exchange for June contracts. Silver prices, however, declined 960 rupees to trade at 71,720 rupees per kilogram, and global oil prices hit their highest in more than a year. This is Lalema Aneja Dang for AIR News.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said sports is at the heart of country's national character. He said youth are creating a strong and vibrant culture of sports. chairing a meeting to review preparations for the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. Mr. Modi said the wishes of 135 crore Indians will be with the nation's youngsters who are participating in the event. He emphasized that from vaccination to training facilities, every need of sports persons must be fulfilled on top priority. The Prime Minister said he will be connecting with the Olympics contingent through a video conference in July to encourage them and assure them that a proud nation stands with them. During the meeting, the Prime Minister was briefed that a total of 100 athletes have qualified for Tokyo Olympics across 11 sports disciplines. 25 more athletes are likely to qualify for Tokyo Olympics, details of which will emerge by end of June. Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju and senior officials of the Sports Ministry were present in the meeting. On the occasion of 50 days countdown to Tokyo Olympics today, Mr. Rijiju unveiled the team's India's official Olympic kit. Speaking at the event, Mr. Rijiju said the Prime Minister has appealed to people to cheer for the athletes who will be participating in the upcoming Tokyo Olympics.
देश का खेल मंत्री होने के नाते जब वो प्रधानमंत्री जी का स्तर से खेल के बारे में खुद बात करते हैं और खुद हर चीज का जायजा लेते हैं तो इसका मतलब सरकार का मंशा देश में खेल का माहौल बनाना है, इसमें बहुत बल मिलने जा रहे हैं। हमारा लंबा लक्ष्य है, लेकिन इस वक्त जो हमारा टारगेट है टोक्यो ओलंपिक्स का, खास करके मैं खिलाड़ियों को, उनके कोचेस हैं और उनके टेक्निकल टीम है, मैं उसको बधाई देता हूं। हम एक्सपेक्टेशन कर रहे हैं वो अच्छा परफॉर्म करें, उसके लिए जो भी तैयारी करना है, सपोर्ट करना है, वो हम करेंगे।
The Indian men's and women's cricket teams reached England today for their respective match tours. The members of both teams will first complete the mandatory quarantine period. The men's team will be in the UK till September 14th. Virat Kohli-led Team India will play World Test Championship final against New Zealand in Southampton starting June 18th and 5-match Test series against England from 4th August in Nottingham. The Indian women's team led by Mithali Raj will face host in its first Test match since 2014 in Bristol from 16th of June. Later they will play 3 one-day internationals and T20s each.
India Meteorological Department IMD has said that southwest monsoon has set in over Kerala today. IMD has said that southwest monsoon has advanced into some parts of the South Arabian Sea, Lakshadweep, southwest Bay of Bengal and the southern part of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. IMD has projected that southwest monsoon is likely to advance into the remaining parts of Kerala, Lakshadweep, some more parts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, some parts of coastal areas of Karnataka and Rayalaseema during the next 2 days. And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is expected to have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature will be around 24 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to hover around 39 degrees. In Mumbai, there will be partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. Jammu will have a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards the afternoon, evening or night. Minimum temperature will be around 24, while maximum will be around 37 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will also have a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards the evening. Temperature will hover between 14 and 27 degrees Celsius. Leh will have a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will be hovering between 8 and 20 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky with minimum temperature around 17 degrees Celsius and maximum to rise up to 36 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, there will be a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards the afternoon or evening or night. Temperature will hover between 17 and 36 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi interacts with students and parents to address their worries at CBSE virtual session. Centre finalizes arrangements for 30 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses of Hyderabad-based manufacturer Biological E. India also engaged with US vaccine manufacturers Pfizer, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. Vaccination for all will be achieved by December this year, says government. Chief Economic Advisor asserts country's economy will start recovering from next month. Validity period of teachers' eligibility test qualifying certificate extended from 7 years to lifetime. Defence Ministry signs contract to procure 11 airport surveillance radars for the Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard. Army Chief General M.M. Narvane reviews security situation along the line of control in Kashmir. And India's Tokyo Olympics kits unveiled. Prime Minister holds review meeting on preparedness. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.